Risk assets are higher this morning. As I speak to you right now, we're looking at the Nasdaq up 0.2%, the S&P up a little bit more than 1/3%, and the Dow and the Russell up about 0.1% each. Metals, including copper, are higher. Silver is higher. Crude oil is higher. As we saw manufacturing PMIs rising in Japan, the UK, Germany, and the EU, although still all in contraction. Manufacturing PMIs have a high correlation to GDP going forward. They actually correlate with about a 3 or 4 month lag for the GDP correlation. However, in the US, it moved into expansion territory at 50.3, highest since November of 2022. Remember, these are the small to medium-sized business PMIs. So you're looking at the job creators getting a little bit more of a boost in that ever important manufacturing sector. The yield curve is moving in the right direction. As we look at yields, we've got basically a small uptick on the 2-year yield. The rest are mildly lower by about a basis point or so, but keep an eye on that because yesterday we had the highest settlement for the 2s10 spread at -17 since October of last year when it got to -16. So keep an eye on that because a positive yield curve is normalization, and that's a good thing. The dollar is also weakest against the yen and Swiss and the euro, but also the pound, the Canadian dollar. And speaking of Canada, the Bank of Canada left interest rates unchanged at their interest rate meeting this morning. China last night cut bank reserve requirements. They cut the amount of cash that banks need to hold as a reserve from February 5th going forward. That's the first such cut in a while as policymakers continue to kind of try and shore up this fragile economic recovery that may be starting among plunging stocks. We saw stocks stabilize a little bit yesterday in China, but they've been plunging for a decent amount of time. Copper was up over 2% on this news, but right now it sits just below that plus 2% level. Now looking ahead, earnings after the close, we get Tesla, IBM, Seagate Technology, CSX, the railroad giant, Las Vegas Sands, and 26 other companies with market caps over $1 billion. Tomorrow before the open, 40 more companies with market caps over $1 billion, including Comcast, Humana, Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Union Pacific, another railroad giant, Northrop Grumman, Valero Energy, and Nokia. Data tonight, nothing to speak of. Tomorrow, German IFO business climate, an ECB rate decision. Again, they're expected to leave rates unchanged. And Q4 advanced GDP in the US, along with durable goods orders and, of course, initial jobless claims.